Welcome to the Coach's Corner. We are here at the Tivoli Tap House, a great place for food as well as beer. I'm Tony Almanza, and alongside me is David Moreno. Summer is almost here, so which means we only have 2 shows to go. We got this one as well as one next week, so remember to tune into that one. David, you actually graduated on Friday. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I actually didn't think you were going to make it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I went to that time in high school. I didn't think I was going to graduate either. I went through some hardships. I didn't think I was going to graduate high school, and then look at me, I'm graduating college.
Well, you did it. Congratulations. So who's on the show today?
We're going to have the spring season wrapped up, as you said. We're going to talk with softball coach Annie Van Wetzinga about the RMAC tournament and how that went for them. We're going to talk about track and field. They just competed at their last meet of the season, so we'll chat with head coach Janis Christopher, and then we'll also have Darren Harder to tell us how it all went.
It's amazing how fast the spring season has gone by. So before we bring on our first guest, we want to give you a recap of how the baseball team did in the RMAC tournament. They first took on Colorado Mines in the first round, and starting pitcher Logan Sewell struck out a career-high 14 in 8 innings of work. But it took one swing of the bat by RMAC's Player of the Year in Mikey Gangwish, who hit a walk-off home run, a 3-run home run, to give the Ore Diggers the 7-5 victory.
The Roadrunners season would come to an end after falling to the eventual tournament champions in Colorado Mesa. The Mavericks put up 10 runs on 16 hits while holding MSU Denver to just 2 runs on 6 hits. But it was a great season for the first-year head coach Ryan Strain, and we'll talk to him next week on our final show of the season.
So now we welcome in head coach of the track and field team, Janis Christopher. Coach, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me back again.
Yeah, no problem. So the track and field season is now over, which means your first official season as head coach has come to an end.
It has.
Can you tell us how the first season went for you as head coach?
It was a great year, really. It's nice to stop and be finished and be able to look back and see what we accomplished. I think that we made some huge strides forward in our team culture and what Coach Trent Mack and I are trying to accomplish, and our vision for the team is starting to come together. A great base, and got to stop and look and see, what actually did we accomplish. And the kids, really, every one of them got better, and that's, as a coach, that's what you want, especially as a track coach. Do they get faster? Are they accomplishing goals that they set? And so the answer was, yeah, they did. At the men, I think on the men's side, over the indoor and outdoor seasons, 54 personal best times were set, and the women, I think they were in the 60s, and so that means that everybody got better, and you can't ask for more than that.
That's true.
So you talk about your team getting better. Something that you've told us a couple of times is how much you really wanted to see your squad come together and work to compete as a team. How did that flourish this season?
It really, I think that the proof is that when one person believes that they're getting better and that they're doing the right things and that they're accomplishing goals, then the next person believes the same thing. And so that culture really did get started. It really is rolling, and they're trusting the process, and so what you see then is your relay teams start to come together and to start to do things. They're doing things for one another that they don't want to do for themselves, and that baton becomes magic. Basically, we tell them, that's what it feels like. When you're running for somebody else, you're running faster than you think you can because you don't want to let them down. It really did. It really did come together. I think that it's flourishing. I think that we're going to bring in some kids that are going to fall right into that with us, and the personalities that we're bringing in, I think, are going to work perfectly with what we're trying to accomplish. And I think you'll start seeing even more relay teams do some great things and people accomplish bigger and better goals.
This past weekend, your squad competed at the last chance meet at the Colorado School of Mines, and you had they had a few season bests from a few of the runners. Can you tell us who came out and ran their butts off this Sunday, and it seemed like Michael DK just missed out on the championship.
He did. He did. They all ran well. I've taken kids to this last chance meet. Sometimes they're trying to qualify for national championships, and sometimes you've got kids like Darren Harder and Alex Insko that they just didn't quite make the cut for the conference meet, and so they want one more chance to see if they can run their season best in their events. And so a lot of the time you get done with the season and everybody says they want to do this meet, and then they get there and it's 2 extra weeks of practice, and there's graduation and there's all these things in between, and so most of the time you go out there and people are just worn out a little bit. But we went out there yesterday and they all ran a season best time. Michael in the 400 lifetime best, and so yeah, he just missed. I think he ended up ranked tied for 26th in Division II, and they take the top 20. So he really did just miss out, but you can't, he wasn't disappointed, and I certainly wasn't, with the fact that he ran his best time of his life on that track, and basically by himself. There wasn't a whole lot of competition out there, and so he really did. He ran the best he could do that day and gave it his all, and we'll get him next year.
Well, something that we didn't talk about last time we had you on the show was the marriage proposal from Alex Insko after he finished the race at the RMAC Championships. It was a pretty cool sight to see, especially since his fiance said yes.
Yeah, thank goodness. That's the first thing I asked him. Did she say yes? He was like, yeah, she said yes. Yeah, he kind of had that. He had that in the works. So Alex loves track. He ran for Western State for a couple of years, and he had an injury that kind of ended his career there. Came into my office last year and said, hey, I have one more season and I want to end it on a different note, and can I be part of your program? And just enjoyed my talk with him and said, yeah, let's do it. Let's see what you can do. And he was a great addition and a huge help to me as a senior leader, just coming in, and we didn't have a lot of older athletes, and so he took those young kids under his wing and he helped them believe in what we were doing in the process, and was a huge support. So he said, I'm gonna propose to my girlfriend after my last race. And I was like, are you sure, at the track meet? And he was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And I was like, all right, so 4x1, and we sort of planned it out. And yeah, he was pretty excited, and I think it was a pretty cool moment for everybody involved. Yeah.
You had 4 men and 4 women finish with RMAC All Academic Honor Roll performances this season, and those are students who are putting up a 3.0 grade point averages or better in the last 2 semesters. As a coach, do you see how much these students put in the books?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're very dedicated in all ways, and so you're talking to them about you get your schoolwork done. Usually, they'll sit down with you and talk about how much work they're putting in. It's something that we encourage. We really want to continue to improve our GPA as a team, and again, it's those same leaders that are showing that leadership in the classroom. And so, you point that out to the other team members, and they're leading the way and letting them know that, student comes first, student athlete. That's why you're a student athlete. So, yeah, I'm aware. They put in a lot of time and work really hard. And the young man that's coming on today, Darren, he's one of my top students, and love for him to come in the office and talk to me about all of his projects and stuff he's working on.
Speaking of studies, you're an engineer after graduating from the Colorado School of Mines. So tell us what kind of engineer you are. What would you be doing if it weren't for coaching?
I graduated from the School of Mines. I have a degree in civil engineering. I worked for 17 years for a consulting firm, and what that means is we did work for the Department of Transportation and a lot of the city and county of Denver and Aurora and a lot of municipalities out there. And I designed highways, and I designed roadways and intersections. The big project that happened a few years ago at I-25 in Santa Fe, that was one of my projects. And so I did stuff like not only the design, but I had to walk into large rooms full of construction workers and tell them how they should build roadways, which is daunting, but it definitely makes, when you walk into a room full of college students, a little bit easier to tell them what you think they should be doing. Right. So yeah, it built my confidence a lot, I think, and that whole time I was coaching on the side, and just found that coaching's my passion, and so I gave it all up to come be a coach here, and took a little risk and ended up as the head coach, and so it was all very worthwhile.
So can you tell us about how the team will be changing from now to next season, and as well as the players you will be losing, and how much recruiting you're going to be doing over the summer?
So, yeah, we are adding 8 on each side. So we're at 16 new athletes, freshman athletes. We're not having any. We're not going to have any transfers coming in, and so still a lot of very young people coming on. We're not losing any women until track season. And track season, I think we only lose Molly. Erica will run. Erica Ruiz will run one more indoor season for us. She won't be there for outdoor. So men on the men's side, I believe we lost Ryan Boucher. We lost Brian. I'm trying to think. Brandon Kroggy we lost during the cross-country season, and Alex Insko is graduating. Randall Williams will also leave us. So we lost 3 or 4 men, and just we're lucky we're not really losing any women until the outdoor season. So a lot of new young talent coming in. You'll see some more depth in the 400 meters. You'll see some depth in the 800 meters, and then you'll see some more depth on the cross-country side.
Nice. Well, Coach, you did a great job in your first year as the official head coach. So we want to wish you, Trent, and Jeremy a great summer.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
So now it's time for everyone's favorite tweet of the week. Time for our first break, but we'll talk softball with head coach Annie Van Wetzinga up next on the Coach's Corner.
I pledge.
I pledge. I pledge.
Here at MSU Denver.
To stop sexual harassment.
To identify situations
in which sexual assault may occur.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
It's on us.
All of us.
To get a friend home safely.
It's on us to be a part of the solution.
And not part of the problem.
Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There are over 480,000 college athletes. Only 2% would go pro.
That means over 470,000 will not get a shoe contract. No autographs. No private jets. No fan clubs. No Hall of Fame inductions. Instead, they will walk away with something much more valuable.
I'm Serena Espinoza, senior catcher for the softball team.
In the past 4 years for some of these players, 5 years, as Espinoza comes in, what a play! The veteran catcher.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
I'm Harley Hoosier, senior third baseman for the softball team.
Good change. Right side, gets it through. One run's gonna come in. Another run, McGee heading home. She'll slide in, and Hoosier comes up with the 2-run single.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Before we talk some softball and maybe some St. Louis Cardinals baseball with Coach Van Wetzinga, we want to tell you about the Mug Club and their happy hour event that's coming up this Thursday. So if you're not a Mug Club member, get on that now. Start enjoying some great discounts on Tivoli's amazing beers. It's a one-time fee of $25 for alumni, $55 for faculty and staff, and $100 for everyone else. Just a one-time fee, and you will forever receive discounts on Roadrunners Red beer, Hillis beer, and so much more. And this Thursday, this is the Mug Club happy hour, and get more discounts on top of your discount. So come on by the Tap House between 4 and 6 p.m. and it's a great time for some great beer. So now we say hello to softball head coach Annie Van Wetzinga. Coach, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
So we said earlier about the St. Louis Cardinals. That's your favorite team. You're a fan of them.
Yes.
So have you been up to date with them? And if so, how have they been doing this season?
They're off to a pretty good start. I haven't looked recently, but they were leading the Central. I'm not sure if they still are, to be honest. But they've also had some injuries. My favorite player, Yadi Molina, he's out with an injury, and then Adam Wainwright just hit the back on the DL. So a couple injuries there, but overall I think I like that. I like what I've seen so far. Haven't had a ton of time to watch them, but I think now going into the summer I will. Pretty athletic team though, more athletic than we have been in the past.
Well, at least your Cardinals are doing good because everybody knows who's doing better than Eric's Orioles right now, that's for sure. But let's get back into some softball. You have had 7 Roadrunners earn all RMAC this season. The headliner coming from the third baseman, Corey Wright, who earned Freshman of the Year. Tell us about how Corey's first year went with your squad.
Well, obviously well. Freshman of the year. You know, she had a really good year. And it started slow. Corey's really quiet and reserved. So and probably more so than what she really is at the beginning of the year. You know, just being a freshman, being nervous, not knowing what to expect. And so she kind of broke out of that shell a little bit, got more comfortable with us and her teammates. And then it really, the season, her play really took off. And she started doing what we as coaches really knew she was capable of, especially on the hitting side of things. So yeah, she ended up being a really, really consistent hitter for us. High contact hit, lowest strikeouts on the team, you know, for our starters, and just was a nice spark for us when we needed it, when we had some other people struggling. And I know she wasn't happy with herself or overall defense. She has high expectations for herself, which I appreciate. But her defense is she's made some really nice plays that maybe you don't realize are really good plays, but the way she handles her glove is really high level. So as she continues to get more experience, learns the game at this level more, things will take off for Corey.
So talking about Corey, she was up for the Hero Sports Newcomer of the Year in Division II, and she just missed out of the top spot by 1 vote. But to even be in that conversation for Corey, it has to just bring up her confidence.
I would hope so. You know, it should. To be mentioned in that category is great. And I think, again, it just paints a picture that what she's capable of. I try to tell Corey, you know, there's more of just a starting spot for her, you know. And as she moves forward in her career here, just to keep plugging away, getting higher, get better at some little things. And like I said, I think things can really take off for her.
Your team earned the 4th seed in the RMAC tournament and took on Mines. In the first round, Darby McGee started in the game, but Burnside came in and kept your team in the game, in the earning. Can you tell us how she performed?
Burnside came in really well. She's been a solid pitcher for us all year long, and she's shined the most, like in relief. If you go look at our stats and everything, if you go look at her ERA as a reliever, it's like 1 something. And then like a lot of times we've used her as our number 2 starter on the day with Darby as our number 1. And she's such a different type of pitcher, so to follow somebody like Darby, it really, really helps her, and it's a tough adjustment for hitters to make that adjustment. So yeah, not surprised Kylie went in there and had the success she did. We needed it, yeah, gave us a really strong outing again, and we got the W.
So you moved on the winner's bracket after a 5-4 win, but day 2 was a tough day for your pitching staff after dropping both those games. Just give us some of your thoughts on that final day.
A tough day. It's not how you draw it up. You don't want to lose like that. We knew Mesa's good, and they're going to be tough. Even if you play really well, it's going to be tough to win because of their offense. Can scare people, and I was just a little disappointed. I wish we would have attacked that game a little bit better. I thought we got back on our heels, and anytime you do that, give them some openings, make some mistakes, then good teams can really take advantage of it. And then, yeah, the second game against Adams State, the elimination game, we just couldn't get the key outs when we needed them. I thought we had a really good fight that game, especially offensively. We had different people coming up with key hits, but we just couldn't shut them down when we needed to.
Well, speaking of that, the offseason begins for you and your squad. We've talked about the 4 seniors who leave your program this year. How's the recruiting trail looking for your squad this summer?
It'll be busy as always. You know, recruiting's an interesting thing. You know, it's a ever-growing kind of animal out there, and it seems like you kind of get pressured to start younger and younger looking at kids, but try to keep it all in perspective. And our biggest thing that we've been trying to focus on is we're trying to hit Colorado kids harder. You know, a few kids we've kind of missed on or didn't get on soon enough. I went to some other schools, and we're putting a re-emphasis and focus on Colorado kids, getting them on campus and that sort of thing. And I think it's nice to win with homegrown talent. And so, you know, outside of really focusing even more on Colorado than maybe we have in the past, is, to me, the biggest thing is find the right fit. Not just athletically, that's the easy part, but who's going to fit in our program, who's going to want to be a part of the team and put team first and want to put the effort in both on and off the field. So that's a big one for us.
So David mentioned those seniors. We saw pictures of Serena Espinosa and Kristen Peters with their gowns. Does it ever get old for you watching those players who not only put work in on the field, but also putting that work in on the classroom?
No, never gets old to you know, watch people succeed on and off the field. And we, you know, blessed with 4 really great individuals that just completed their careers here. They contributed a lot. You know, obviously on the field, it's easy to talk about that stuff because their stats and everything. But to me, their contribution as individuals were much bigger than in softball. Their leadership, their dedication, they're academically solid people. And big thing is, we're super loyal to us, to me as a coach, to the coaching staff, and to the program, which is really the #1 thing. And they'll be missed for sure.
Well, Coach, thanks for hanging out with us all season long, and we hope you find that time to relax and just refuel and be ready for next season.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys.
Well, we'll be taking one more break, but we'll be right back to talk track and field with Darren Harder, so don't go anywhere.
Metropolitan State University of Denver nurtures student aspiration and empowers lifelong success through personal attention and professional experience in an inclusive environment. Located in the heart of downtown Denver, the university offers broad access to a transformative undergraduate and graduate education on Colorado's most diverse college campus. And as a gateway to opportunity, MSU Denver advances the intellectual, social, cultural, and economic well-being of Denver and beyond.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
I'm Basachi Fiatoa, senior middle blocker from Roadrunners volleyball team.
Excuse me, Gabby Varela. And hard hit there by Fiatoa, kind of coming out of nowhere.
And you're watching Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
I'm Claire Gordon, senior DS from the volleyball team.
Nice job there by Claire Gordon.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
So glad you're back with us. Before we get to know Darren Harder, we want to remind you about our annual Roadrunner Scholarship Dinner and Auction that is coming up in a couple of weeks. Visit roadrunnerathletics.com/auction, where you still have some time to donate items, buy tables for this event, and make a contribution toward Roadrunner scholarships. The event will take place on June 1st, and we would love to see you there to support all our student athletes. So now we say hello to track and field star Darren Harder. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So finals happened last week. Are you happy they're over, and how did that go for you?
Yeah, I'm glad they're over, man. It's like that last couple weeks semester always, was a grind, just get done, but this is a good feeling to be over.
So, and staying on with finals and schoolwork, tell us what you are majoring in and what you hope to do with that once you are done here at MSU Denver.
Well, I'm majoring in environmental science, and my concentration is water management and hydraulic science. So I can do a lot of just private or public sector work. There's not really a set thing I can do with it. I think it's pretty applicable to a lot of different areas. I'd like to get a job doing the hydrology somewhere. If that's would be my #1 goal to do once I'm done here.
So you're a local guy here from Denver. Can you tell us why you decided to run here at MSU?
Well, my first year of college, I was out at Fort Lewis. I decided it just wasn't for me, so I transferred to Metro. And while I was, in the transferring process, I saw that there was a track team here, so I emailed the current coach at the time, got in touch, and then I tried out for the team that my first fall, so fall 2015 here, and then, and I made the team, so here I am now.
How did this past outdoor track and field season go for you?
It went pretty well. I set an all-time PR in the 100, 11:69, which I was pretty happy with. I set a couple college PRs in the 200, so I haven't got quite back to my all-time PR yet. I'm pretty close though, so hopefully I can get that next year.
Do you run indoor and cross country as well? And if you do, which is your favorite?
I just run indoor and outdoor track. I'm not a cross country guy. My definitely favorite's outdoor. Bigger tracks. It's not quite as tight in there. It's a lot of fun outdoor.
Well, will you plan maybe next year to run cross country, or is that just not your thing at all?
No, that's a little too long for me. 8Ks, that's not me. No, that's too long.
So you're more of a sprinter then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, sprinter.
So tell us how Coach Christopher has helped you progress through this past season.
Well, I think with Janis does really well. She supports you every step of the way. She gives you good coaching tips. She knows the small things that you can work on. She's very supportive. If you have a bad race, she says, hey, this is what we got to fix, and she's very, she'll be really patient with you, which I think helps a lot with track. It's not always happens at one go. It's a progress, so she's good with that, I think.
When did you realize that you wanted to run and do so at the collegiate level?
Well, when I was in high school, I started my track my junior year of high school, so I didn't do it all 4 years. I actually got a scholarship offer to a small school in Kansas, which I didn't end up taking, but when I was at Fort Lewis, it was, I missed competing a lot. I didn't, just not having sports to do. It was a weird feeling for me. So, like I said, when I was, transferring here, I, took a shot, see if I can make the team, and I did. So I'm very fortunate for it.
So did you compete in other sports like in high school?
Yeah, I played soccer and basketball in high school.
So was track always the sport that you loved?
Once I started doing track, it became my favorite. Like I said, I started my track my junior year of high school, and in hindsight, I should have done all 4 years. But once I started, that first meet, my junior year of high school, I was like, yeah, this is what I should have been doing the whole time. So.
And were you always a sprinter, or?
Yeah, I was probably always the fastest guy on the soccer team. So it translated well. And all the track college coach at my high school, they said, yeah, you'd be really good at track. And then I was like, I finally listened to him, and I came out with the team. So.
Nice.
What are some goals that you have for yourself during the summer? Are you trying to up your workout, and has Coach given you some things to work on over the summer?
Well, she'll email us the workouts probably within the next couple weeks here. I'm just trying to stay in shape and get in shape so I can hit those times I want for the end of next year. I'm hoping to shoot for 22.5 in the 200 next year. So it's going to take a lot of work, but I'm ready for it.
So Coach was telling us about how she's building the culture of the program by becoming more of a team environment. Do you see it out there in practice and in meets where the team is coming together? Because, this sport is more like an individual sport.
Yeah. I think Janis has done a really good job of that. My first couple years here wasn't quite, cohesive team unit. I think this year we're getting there for sure. We're not there yet. I think within the next year, 2 years, I think we'll definitely be there. We try to support each other, because the thing with track is, the events are taking on different places, different times. We try to, get around to the long jump, the high jump, as much as we can. It's just sometimes hard. You got to warm up, do your own thing, but I think we really try as a team to support each other when other teammates are competing.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, and we hope you have a great summer.
Awesome, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so that would do it for today's show, but remember, we got one show left. On next week's show, we have head coach of the baseball team, Ryan Strain, as well as athletic director, Anthony Grant. So remember, tune in to that. So, again, that will do it for this week's show. We want to thank Coach Christopher, Coach Van Wetzinga, as well as Darren for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
David, thanks so much for helping me host.
Thank you.
I'm Tony Almanza. We'll see you next time on The Coach's Corner.